Hey guys, so today's video is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be anything sort of fashion based or makeup based or kind of cosplay based. This one's going to be sort of general life based. Today's video is going to be all about moving out and living on your own. Now there are topics in this video which I will be covering, such as living with friends or living with your partner, because I don't have experience in that. So I won't be covering those, but for the most part, hopefully you guys will get the picture, and hopefully I do give off some good advice, and maybe, help you guys a little bit more. So, let's get right to the point. So, let me start by saying, you've seen those programs where people move out, and it's like, parties every night. Get ready to not do that. Moving out is not parties every night, trust me. You will be lucky if you can have a night out a week, give or take, if you have an income like mine, which is just enough to pay the bills. Get ready to not do a lot of sort of parties and stuff. You can have friends over, but try not to make a habit of doing it sort of every night, because sooner or later people are going to say no, and it's just going to be, well, what do I do now? That, and you'll be left with an enormous mountain of rubbish that you won't know what to do with. Number two is you're going to get lonely. It's going to happen. Like it or not, it is the thing. It does happen. Especially if you don't really live close to relatives or friends or anything like that. You do get quite lonely. The best way around that is to, phone calls, text messages, Facebook, things like that. Try and stay social. Don't let yourself be dug into a rut of, I don't know what I'm doing because I don't have any friends to talk to at the moment. Try and find something to do that is kind of a distraction, I guess. And you should be fine. Number three is kind of going back to the whole parties every night. Unless you have a very good income, or you've chosen a cheap flat because you want to save as much money as you can, then money is going to be tight. It's not all raining money these days. So money's going to be tight, so you need to just be careful on that. Number four is learn what you can at home. If your parents are willing to teach you something, listen. If it's something like how to cook, I don't know, mince and dumplings, for example, master of that. If you're learning to cook mince and dumplings, then that's a good skill to have, because you can make something. Me being a girl, I'm supposed to be goddess of the kitchen. I barely know how to cook shit. Pardon my language, but, learn what you can at home, because sooner or later it's going to come in handy. So that's pretty much it for the basics. Now I'm going to give you guys some kind of tips and tricks to kind of improve your experience with moving out. Obviously, I'm not saying it's going to be, a walk in the park. You're going to have problems. Believe me, you're going to have problems. But how you deal with them is up to you. Tips and tricks. Number one, shop at sort of discount wholesale stores. So places like Aldi are very cheap. I can usually get a week's worth of shopping for just shy of a tenner. And that includes sort of lemonades as well, and drinks if you want those. But budget, definitely try to budget, because budgeting is going to be your lifesaver at this point. If you don't budget, sooner or later, gone. Wholesale places like, I think it's Macro, I don't know if it's around these days. My mother used to go there quite a bit. Places like Costco as well. Apparently a lot of people go there for kind of wholesale stuff, but if you can't get it in bulk, get it in bulk. Trust me, this helped. Number two is try to get yourself into a routine. So, whereas at home, you'd be used to getting up at stupid o'clock in the afternoon, try to make it a point to have a bedtime. Again, it sounds so strange, I know, but bear with me. Try to give yourself a decent bedtime. I'm not talking 9 o'clock at night because that's just stupid. Usually I go to bed at about 11, 12 o'clock. And I usually get up for about 9 o'clock-ish. Some days I do go to bed a little earlier and wake up a little earlier. If I have an event that day, just to give myself extra time to prepare for it. You know, say one day you could do the shopping, some cleaning, things like that, whereas another day make plans to see friends or something like that, but try to give yourself a routine. That way you won't be just, oh god, what do I do today, kind of thing. Now for number 3, I do have some examples here. These are your new best friends. These are money jars. Now I have 2 different ones here. This one is for sort of all my spare change, for things like, basically if you have anything that's a 50 pence or under, it goes in here. So that's pretty much that. And for this one, this is where I'm keeping all of my notes. So I'm keeping it hidden. Well, actually, not really much point because it's there. But this is where I'm keeping a lot of my notes. And the pound coin that you may be able to see in there, but there's a pound coin in there. Basically anything that's a pound or higher, so say banknotes, £2 coins, £1 coins, anything like that, they go in this one. And the reason I have those is because the spare change jar is going to come in handy. Basically, you take money out with you, all the change you get goes in there. Any pound coins or anything like that, they stay in your wallet. And I know it sounds crazy, it sounds strange, I know, but it helps. And at the end of the month, you know, if you have, my mother used to have a giant whiskey bottle of coppers she collected that we just used to take to the Coinstar, I think it's called, at our local supermarket, and we just used to cash that in. It was about £50 worth of coppers in the end. So it doesn't sound like a lot, but coming from sort of your perspective, money is money, no matter how much it is. Now, number 4 of the tips and tricks is kind of going back to number 2 of the basics, and that is try to stay as social as you can because you don't want to get lonely. I say this because being lonely in kind of a place like this is not a good thing to be. You know, you'll find that you're just in a slump and you don't know what to do. So even if you invite friends over to your house, you go out to see them, you go for a walk in the park, or I don't know, try to stay social. Because it'll help your mental health, basically. It sounds strange, I know, but now number 5 is another kind of, this is your new best friend. I find, especially in the winter times and kind of autumn, early spring, it gets very, very cold, and gas and electricity is fairly pricey these days. So if you want to find a way to stay warm, this is your new best friend. Now, this is just a regular jacket that I got from Primark a little while back, and basically, if ever you feel cold, just basically put it on, instantly a bit warmer. So that's one thing you can do. Again, there's more than one way. I use sort of jumpers as well, or sometimes blankets. This is just a scarf, but it does keep you a bit warmer. You know, blankets, your quilts, things like that. The only thing is you don't want to get too warm. If you get too warm, you get too comfortable. If you get too comfortable, you will fall asleep. And I know that doesn't sound like a bad thing, but if you wake up boiling hot, you're going to feel very, very sick. Trust me on that one, it's happened a few times. I never learned. Number 6 is make your goddamn food last. If you do get things from, say, Aldi or anything, I always like to make sure that they don't perish the next day. So if I get bread or something, I go for the one that has the longest sell-by date, because I know that'll last me the longest. Or if I get anything else with a sell-by date, I make sure, again, don't have it go the next day, because then it'll just suck, because you'll have spent this amount of money on your food, and it's just dead, basically. So if you are going to get food in that you don't want to perish like that, I would suggest tin foods like spaghetti hoops. These are really good. These are from Aldi, if I remember right. I'll have to double check. But actually, yes, these are from Aldi. You can see the little thing right there. These are from Aldi, and these are really good to have on toast, waffles. Not the sweet waffles, like the potato waffles, but you know what I mean. And also, noodles! Freeze-dried noodles. These have been my best friend since I've moved out. I can get these particular ones for like 20 pence down in Aldi. And honestly, I could live off these if I wanted to, but it ain't healthy. If you can, try not to live off purely noodles, because it's not good for your system and it's not good for you. It will knock you quite sick. I made that mistake when I first moved out. And after a while I just found myself being very kind of deal. So try not to rely too much on one set of particular food. Try and have a variety there. Now the last one that's on my actual list, I've had my list on my phone, is don't rely on your parents as much as you used to, because in my case, my parents live quite far away, and it's rare we often see each other, so I have to learn to do things on my own, and believe me, it's hard. But unless you really, really have to, try not to rely on your parents. I mean, there's a few sort of self-help videos on YouTube you can watch. There's Google, obviously. Or you can even ask your friends, because they might know as well. But try not to bother your parents too much. I mean, a phone call home never hurts. At least maybe once a week or something, but just a phone call home, just to let them know how you're doing and that you miss them and everything. But you know, yeah. Try to make a point to go and see them often as well. Just to let you know that you still care, and you know, just because you've moved out doesn't mean you're daddy's little monster anymore. But you know what I mean. So that's pretty much it for the list. Another one that I have learned, see this coffee. This is going to be your new fuck buddy. Yes, I just said that, and I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, but coffee is going to be your fuck buddy, because you will learn to like this. This gets you up in the morning. This keeps you up when you have important shit to do. This is your fuck buddy, basically. Again, this is just Al Cafe from Aldi. Very cheap, long-lasting, works well with sugar. But it works well. So that just about wraps up this video. If I have rambled, I do apologise. Or if you guys think I've missed out anything important, then please feel free to comment below. I would like to see what some of you guys do if you live on your own. But my final sort of closing bit for this video before I do the whole goodbyes thing is, moving out isn't easy. It's going to be hard, it's going to get lonely, but just do your best to not be a social outcast in terms of after you've moved out. Try to Try to be social, try to stay active. It's going to be hard, it's going to be, you know, really upsetting. Maybe the first 2 days you will probably have a little bit of a cry. I'm willing to admit I did cry a couple of times after I moved out, because it was the concept of living away from home. And it's hard, I won't lie, it is hard, but once you get used to it, it's quite nice, sort of having your own space and just being the boss of your own house. But that about wraps up this video. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this. This was quite a fun video to make, in terms of, you know, the serious stuff. I will be doing more kind of like this, to, you know, give off general life lessons and stuff like that. But for the time being, this is it for now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. So, bye!